Our Evo Tuning journey continues with the Class B Enzo Ferrari. People describe this car as a slower version of the McLaren F1 LM, and I tend to agree to some extent. The F1 LM feels much lighter to drift and corner compared to the Enzo. In fact, aside from its high top speed, I believe the Enzo needed a higher top speed, better acceleration, and lighter handling. Handling is definitely what this car needs most to compete properly. So that's what we're going to focus on as we Evo tune it. Additionally, we'll compare our unique tune to 3 other cars to see how it really stacks up against the competition. And based on your votes, you want me to compare the Enzo to other 6-star cars: the McLaren F1 LM from Class B, the Tomaso P72 from Class A, and the McLaren Speedtail from Class S. Does the Enzo have what it takes to rival these cars? Let's find out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The Bugatti Chiron has also been Evo tuned and is ready for a proper comparison, so we'll see if it can take on the kings of the entire game in a future video. With all that said, let's get started. So the main car we're looking at today is the Enzo Ferrari, which received the Evo Tuning feature alongside the Chevy Camaro LT and the Bugatti Chiron. We've shown that car evolution did improve the Camaro LT, but not enough to compete with cars of its new rank or even a few ranks lower, though to be fair, it largely depends on your driving style and how you like the car to perform. For the Enzo, the main issues I saw were that it lacked enough acceleration and its drift angle was a bit too wide. Based on the car hunt riot happening right now, many people on the leaderboard have their Enzo set up with a neutral build. I, on the other hand, went for this lightweight setup with parts like a heavyweight gearbox that significantly increases the car's acceleration and featherlight nitrous with a perfect nitro boost. So now, instead of reaching 379 kilometers per hour, it hits 385. It also has an acceleration stat slightly above 80, a handling stat just below 70, and excellent nitro efficiency. Rank wise, it surpasses any other Class B car here and is only 2 points away from the Tomaso P72 at Gold Max. When driving this car, it now feels a bit floaty and it seems to body roll when drifting to either side, but overall it feels like a nimble supercar with a rank of 4584. Is this 5-star Enzo with its evolution tuning now capable of challenging 6-star supercars in classes B, A, and S? Let's introduce our comparative challengers, shall we? First, we have the Class B King, or at least one of the still competitive Class B Kings, the McLaren F1 LM. This car is one of my favorites in the game because of how it performs. At 393 kilometers per hour, the F1 LM is one of the fastest cars in Class B, with only the Huayra R being faster at 396. Its acceleration isn't the best at 74, but it compensates with very good handling, drifting capabilities with a sharp drift radius, drift punch, and floaty tendencies, along with highly efficient nitrous. It's an all-rounder in some ways, though its acceleration poses a challenge against cars with higher acceleration on corner heavy tracks. The F1 LM is one of those must-have cars, especially for multiplayer, as its top speed, handling, and nitrous make it nearly unstoppable, plus it's a real menace in slipstream races. In real life, this remains one of the rarest exotics in the world, with only 5 ever made and a 6th kept at the McLaren headquarters in Woking. If you find one now, it'll cost you at least $30 million. Let's move on to something much cheaper, the Tomaso P72. I've already explained this car in detail in the Classic King comparison, but if you haven't seen it, I'll include a link to the video in the description, along with a pop-up banner visible right now. Compared to the F1 LM, the P72 is slower and has a wider drift radius, but it offers better acceleration. Compared to the evolution-tuned Enzo, it's 5 kilometers per hour faster and has slightly better acceleration, but its drift radius is still wider and nitro efficiency remains mostly the same. It's also much cheaper, costing only $1.5 million if you were to buy one new, which you can't because all allocations of this supercar have already been spoken for. This could be quite interesting. Finally, we have the McLaren Speedtail, ranked at 4593 in Class S. This is one of my go-to cars for the Platinum League, mostly because I don't have the Ultima RS at max level yet, and I'm currently waiting for the devs to give us another special hunt or key hunt so I can finally finish upgrading that car. Anyway, the Speedtail is the fastest car here, reaching a top speed of 483 kilometers per hour. Also, don't be fooled by its handling stat, as you would for most Class S cars. The Speedtail features a sharp drift radius, and even though it loses a significant amount of speed when drifting normally, it's one of the easiest floaty cars to tame and come to grips with. Its floaty drift is actually pretty good, all things considered, despite it being a Class S car and only slightly higher in rank than our Evolution tuned Enzo Ferrari. How much of a lead will the Speedtail build up in front of the Enzo? Let's find out. I know most of you think this comparison is a bit uneven, and I agree. Despite the Enzo's new high ranking, it's still a 5-star car, and even with the upgrades, I don't think it'll be enough to compete with some of these 6-star legends. Still, these are the cars you guys chose though. Honestly, I probably should have given you better options. Anyway, let's see how things stand when we take all 4 cars to 1000 Minarets, the top speed test. So there we are. The new and improved Enzo was fast, but against the other similarly ranked cars, it just wasn't fast enough in the top speed test at 1000 Minarets. If anything, it's proven to be a much deadlier car than a 6-star low-ranking Lamborghini. The other cars in this comparison either have a higher top speed or better acceleration than this Evolution Enzo. However, I still think it can be deadly. While driving it, I noticed a bit of floatiness to it. Then again, this is a light build, so it should be dainty on its feet. Now, let's see if that's true when we compare it with the others at straights and hairpins.
Is mine to take. I fall through the sun, burn away to something real, burn away to find what's true inside of me. Live or die, the choice to make is clear now.
Now that is impressive. The 5-star Evolution Enzo is actually faster here at straights and hairpins than the 6-star F1 LM. The F1 LM might have a higher top speed and floaty capabilities, but the Enzo's improved acceleration and newly enhanced floaty abilities give it the edge needed to outrun the Class B king. Compared to other similarly ranked cars from Class A and S, we already know how good the P72 is, though not enough to challenge the Countach in Class A, and the McLaren Speedtail is definitely underrated for how well it performs at its rank. It's also one of the most fun cars you'll drive in the game, especially when you max it out. Ultimately, we can say that Evolution Tuning definitely revitalizes some of the old cars in this game. Cars that we wanted to be competitive in the past are now, thanks to this new feature. And there's always a setup that suits everyone, even though most players might prefer a specific universally used loadout to achieve faster times on certain tracks. The question now is whether this feature needs some balancing, and as we'll see in future comparisons, that might be the case. Still, I hope you guys enjoyed this comparison. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Asphalt gameplay. It really helps me out. I have many comparisons planned, and with school getting tougher for me, I'll do my best to bring you content to enjoy. Until then, stay safe, and I'll see you later.